This is BBC News Live, and you're joining us on a bit of a first today because this is the first time we're bringing you live coverage from the BBC's new streaming centre. It's in the middle of our London newsroom, and I'm surrounded by our teams of journalists who are tracking today's stories. And it's from here that we can bring you live coverage of events. We can bring you a bit closer to our journalism. We can show you how we verify and check our facts. And I'm surrounded by many very experienced journalists to help walk us through and explain why stories matter. Now, we're going to be bringing you coverage in the next few minutes of an event that's happening today. And it is a speech by the Conservative Party leader, Kemi Badenoch. And she's going to be talking about a subject which has been really contentious in UK politics in the last few years. And that is because she's about to set out plans to look at whether the UK should pull out from the European Convention on Human Rights. That's the ECHR for short. We're going to be hearing from our political teams to just explain the significance of this. And we can join now Chris Mason, who's our political editor. He's going to be getting a front row seat at that speech today, and he's joining us from the venue now. Hi, Chris. How's it going?
Hello. Yeah, fine, thank you. Hello and welcome to the Royal United Services Institute. We're on Whitehall, Downing Street's just across the road. This is a big-brained and rather bookish place. In fact, it is literally a library, and I feel like that guy who goes into the library and starts talking too loudly, and everyone's looking around thinking, who's that guy talking really loudly? This speech is going to get underway in a handful of minutes. There's actually going to be a pause for a couple of minutes silence shortly because of VE Day commemoration, so I will stop talking before then. But as you say, Emma, really key national discussion this really about the UK's relationship with international conventions, not least the European Convention on Human Rights, and the extent to which that might be getting in the way of empowering politicians at Westminster to take decisions that they might want to take. And Kemi Badenoch is starting a commission for the next handful of months to explore whether, if there were to be a Conservative government in the future, she would advocate withdrawal from bodies like the European Convention on Human Rights. I'm going to have to dash though because I'm conscious this silence is imminent, and then I'll have to take my seat, but perhaps we'll talk again a bit later on.
All right, thanks, Chris. Hopefully we didn't disturb people in that nice, quiet environment there too much. Well, as Chris was saying, this is something which critics of the ECHR feel is getting in the way of the UK's national interest, that it's blocked things in the past that the government wants to do. But let's hear a bit more about the position on this from the Conservatives. Chris Philp, the Shadow Home Secretary, he's been speaking to the Today programme earlier. He was talking about why currently the Conservatives are increasingly of the view that we should leave the ECHR. Let's have a listen.